The Live Stream Code and Rating Administration has rated this online event PG. All ages admitted. Please be kind and stay on topic.
It's Adventures with BK and Dave. Come join them in their nostalgic journey back to simpler days. Old-time commercials, each one a delight. They're so darn good, they could watch them all day and all night. All night.
Good evening and welcome to The Good Stuff Live, or better put, Adventures with BK and Dave. So this is what I hope is the first of an ongoing series of live streams or videos with my friend Barry King, where we go back and walk the halls of nostalgia and watch some really great old-time vintage commercials. So I have to admit to you all, this really wasn't my idea. BK reached out to me, I don't know, a month or so ago and said, hey, let's do this. This would be fun. And I completely agreed. And so without any further jabbering on, which is what I'm prone to do these days, I'm going to bring Barry on screen right now. Barry, how the heck are you?
Doing great, Dave. Hello, and hello to everybody out there. I'm ready to do this. Yeah, commercial jingles. We grew up with them. Let's talk
That's
about
right.
them. Great,
yeah, let's
great
do
subject.
it. The great thing about these old commercials is just they're almost like old friends. Seriously, some of these ones, and you sent me a list, and I only added a few to them because they're some of my favorites as well.
I knew we'd duplicate a few.
Yeah. These are just great commercials. And so, folks, what we're going to do is we're going to we have a handful. I think I've got 13 commercials here for 12 products. One of them deserved a second video. Not the one you're thinking of, Barry. Hopefully you got my message on the copyright bots. But
I did, yeah.
But I've got 13 videos, 12 products, and we're going to watch them. I've broken them into categories. And the first category of videos that we're going to watch tonight, and folks, I'll do my best to, if I see a comment, and Barry, keep an eye out on the comments if you could too. But if we see a comment about one of the commercials that we're watching, I'll make sure to put them on the screen when I see them. So that you guys can participate in the conversation with us as well. But the first section, the first category of commercials tonight, the first 4 commercials. It's interesting. We had 4 commercials that had everything to do with chewing gum, Barry.
Well, how about that? They were great ads. They really wanted you to chew that gum, and sing that song.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? I mean, there's certain products that just, the commercials were really good for those products for whatever reason.
Oh, yeah. And isn't it interesting that back when we watched television, way back when, I wasn't in love with commercials when I was younger. I'm like, oh, hurry up, commercials, hurry up. I want to get back to my show. Now, some of them were catchy. Obviously, we do remember a lot of them. They were catchy commercials, but for the most part, I wanted them to end to get back to the show I was watching. I had to get back to Gilligan's Island or on board the Enterprise or in the apartment with Ralph and Alice Cramden. But now I find myself, like you probably and everybody else, seeking out the commercials that we used to watch because now they're nostalgic, and the ones with the jingles are almost like greatest hit songs now that we could have on an album.
Yeah, and what I was thinking that, and they probably have done this, but as I was cleaning up the audio on them this morning a little bit, because some of them were a little fuzzy, I was thinking, man, this would make a great album. Someone should just compile all these jingles together. There's some really talented people involved in making these
Oh, yeah.
commercials of the
They
song.
may have already. We just don't know about it, but I'm sure
Right.
maybe somebody's done it somewhere, or reproductions. or
Possible.
something.
Possible. All right. So without any further ado, then let's go ahead and let's watch the very first one. This is one that you sent me, Barry, I think. Yep. This was one of yours. And it is a great one. Just the song, right? It's so interesting how these things just, we know the words without even trying. We know the words to this song. All right.
No little cinnamon gum freshens breath longer than Big Red.
So kiss a little longer, hug a little longer, state your case a little longer, longer with Big Red. That Big Red freshness lasts right through it. Your fresh breath goes on and on while you chew it. Say goodbye a little longer, make it last a little longer. Give your breath long-lasting freshness with Big Red.
I can taste the cinnamon now.
Oh, yeah. That's good stuff.
It's good. Yeah, it was great. And a great jingle too. And one that's, it fires on all cylinders. It got you to know about the product. You didn't forget it. It stuck in your head and it did its job. That's what a good jingle does.
That's right. And just to show how good it is, it's seriously the words, they just, if we were pressed, we could come up with those lyrics without even trying to memorize them.
Right. Oh yeah. And it does its job as a jingle. I don't know if Big Red is still around. I don't think it is.
It is.
But,
it is.
it is okay.
At least in
Still
my
around.
neck of the woods, Big Red is still available.
Wrigley's. I mean, yeah, like you say, a lot of the spearmint gum or whatever. You're right. A lot of gums are going to be on the list tonight because they just were good jingles for great products.
Yeah. Yeah. In
But
the chat there, I think it was Chance that said, give me the Doublemint twins. So I feel like we ought to oblige. So let me go ahead and queue up. Yeah. Let me queue up a couple more commercials here. We'll start with the twins, but this is the one where I have two different commercials for Wrigley's Doublemint gum because they were just so iconic. There were so many of them. And there's two different riffs, but it's the same song essentially. So here we go.
A double pleasure's waiting for you. A double pleasure from Doublemint gum. A double great feeling, making you realize Doublement's the one for you. Double fresh, double smooth, double delicious to chew. A double pleasure is waiting for you. Doublemint gum. A double pleasure is waiting for you. Doublemint gum.
Double pick in, double kick in, a double howdy can make your day. Good old double fiddles make it do-si-do away. But the single most favorite double in the world is double good, Doublemint gum.
Double your pleasure with Doublemint gum. Double good, double fresh, double delicious.
Double good, Doublemint gum.
Double your pleasure with Doublemint gum.
I'm sitting here smiling. I can't stop. Russell C in chat is saying, "Oh my God, I was singing along. What's wrong with me?" I'm like, nothing's wrong with you. Here's what you're supposed to do. It's great.
It's right. They did their job well. That Wrigley's Doublemint gum campaign, the one with that, I mean, they riffed on the song and there were variations. Of course, that one was a country version of it that I think was probably produced around the time that Dukes of Hazzard was very popular.
Right.
But that, I think that campaign and that song, that jingle in all its forms, I think we heard it through the mid 70s to the late 80s, early 90s. It just lasted that long.
Well, even snuck the Doublemint. He even snuck a Doublemint twin spot or little line in Spaceballs. Mel Brooks did. He goes that he had the twins on board the spaceship, and she's like, "Hey," he keeps mixing up one to the other, and she's like, "No, I'm the other one. I'm the other one." He goes, "Chew your gum." so even snuck it into Spaceballs.
Leave it to Mel. That's all I can say. Leave it to Mel. Of course he would.
Popular spot.
Of course he would. Justin says it lost its flavor in about 2 minutes. I don't know.
Oh, did it? Which one? Big Red or Double Mint? I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that my packs of gum from trading cards would lose its flavor pretty
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
But some of the other stuff lasted a little longer than that. But yeah, maybe some of them did.
I think you're right though. The trading card bubble gum was the weakest of the sauce in terms of.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the initial flavor of it, and I also liked how hard it was. You know,
Right.
trading card bubble gum was hard. It wasn't Double Mint and Big Red. Those all kind of you chewed on it, and it was soft from the get go.
Right. And
But,
let's face it,
trading-
we didn't buy the trading cards for the gum, even though it came with it. We wanted the cards
Right.
first. So
Yeah, that was a bonus. That was a bonus. The gum in there. Raja
spot.
1938 says, "I remember this ad like it was yesterday." I think we're going to
yeah.
say that over and over.
A lot tonight. Yes. Very
Yeah.
much so.
And Chance says, "Hulk smash the like button." So yeah, folks, if you would, I would be very grateful. For those of you that don't know, that may be watching us streaming tonight for the first time, both Barry and myself, we just love old timey stuff and this talk about the things we grew up with. Barry has we'll talk more about this at the end of the show, but Barry has he has a radio program. He's how long have you been in the radio business, Barry?
Well, on and off since the junior in high school. So it's been since on and off since 1983, really, you know.
Yeah.
That's a
Long
while.
time.
It's
Long
maybe
time
longer
since-
than some people in the chat were born. I don't know.
Yeah,
Don't know
since
yet.
they were making these commercials. That's how
Right.
long you've been.
Exactly. Yeah. And then some.
But on Saturday mornings, Barry talks about all things retro along with his buddy. What's Alan's last name?
Sanders.
Alan Sanders. Yeah.
Along with
These
Alan
these
Sanders.
two guys are great. We'll talk more about that at the end, but and we have YouTube channels too. Yeah, that's why we're here. But
Right.
all right, we got one more gum commercial. So we should do one more gum commercial. No more Doublemint Twins, Scott. Sorry,
Aw.
we're out on the Doublemint Twins. But this commercial, and it's one that you sent me, Barry. This jingle and this singer, this guy who's singing this, whoever it is, fantastic. That's all I can say. Let's cue it.
That friendly nurse is sure courageous, 'cause breath like yours could be contagious.
Brush your breath, brush your breath, brush your breath with Dentyne.
Oh, you finally found your young Prince Charming. Too bad your breath is so alarming.
Brush your breath, brush your breath, brush your breath with Dentyne.
Not even mouthwash can freshen your breath more effectively than when you're chewing Dentyne.
What a fighter. You're sure he'll win, but then your breath just did them in.
Brush your breath, brush your breath, brush your breath with Dentyne.
It's short, but it's great. I mean, I don't know what it was about that spot, but my sister and I would sing that over and over and over growing up, hearing right after we'd go on, brush your breath, and then we want some Dentyne. So yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I needed it for my breath. I mean, that got you on the mirth, but the message as well was just powerful.
I think that was Mason Adams narrating or talking about the not at the beginning, but later on in the spot. It's Mason Adams, who you may remember from Lou Grant, TV show Lou Grant, and he was
Right,
in
I do remember him.
He was in the movie FX with Brian Dennehy too. So very, very prominent voice he had.
Oh yeah, very distinctive and perfect for that commercial. So I think that is it for our. There were a lot of other great bubblegum commercials, and maybe we'll hit them in a future episode. But someone else mentioned like the Bubble Yum ones, and they're Bubblicious. I remember.
Bubblicious.
You remember the animation on the Bubblicious ones?
Oh,
where
they were
they
going into
blow
outer
the
space and
bubbles
stuff. Yeah,
fly?
the ultimate bubble with the ultimate flavor. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, and then the Bubble Yum one that I really loved was the where they were having a old time Western with the quick draw, but they were blowing bubbles.
Right.
Do you remember that one?
Dad gum my bubble gum. Right. I mean, some of them have jingle songs and some of them are just spots, but we could easily do a 3 or 4 hour show on all these spots.
yeah.
But you and I had to keep it down to a
Right.
manageable little bit here. And I tried to pick the ones that meant the most, I think, for me.
We'll see how manageable this is. So Chance points out that Mason Adams voiced the Smucker's Preserve spots too.
He sure did.
Yep.
He had such a voice.
Yeah. so distinctive. And yeah, Angela, I totally agree. Those Dentyne ads were funny. That's how they hook you. They hook you with either emotion or with humor.
I mean, a lot of modern ads today. I don't even remember. I couldn't tell you if I watched a spot. I'm like, what was the product? I saw a commercial, but I don't know what the product was. So they fail in that today. With not all of them, but some of them. I think Sean Ennis has put in the chat, same age as you, BK. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. But, oh no, I'm sorry. That's okay. I got a kindred spirit there. That's good.
Tom McCluskey, aka the Hungry Jerk, says he liked Bazooka Joe's. I still enjoy a Bazooka Joe every now and again. I have a lot of memories of Bazooka Joe's. My barber, after my dad would take me for a haircut, that's what we got was a little Bazooka Joe gum with the tiny comic inside.
And I'd get it at the doctor's office. That's where I would get mine. So yeah, I'm very familiar with that. Good stuff.
Yep. Fond memories for sure.
Good stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I want to make sure we're going to miss a lot of comments, obviously, but trying to get as many of them as I can. Danny Staten says he preferred peanut butter cups. Well, I prefer them to gum too. To be totally truthful.
Yeah. They didn't have peanut butter cup gum though. I missed out on that. So.
I wonder if anyone's ever made peanut butter gum. I mean, we have Bit-O-Honeys. They're chewable.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I don't know. Dominic D says, with a name like Smuckers, it's got to be good. Yeah, that's where you hear Mason Adams' voice.
That's
there
him.
You go.
What a voice.
And we won't cover this one tonight, but I mean, another classic commercial, the Tootsie Pop commercial.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever cover that because I have tried to play that one in a live stream before and got copyright claimed. That gosh darn it.
That's a double-edged sword on that because at least when I play stuff on the radio, we can because we're on the radio and we already have clearance to kind of do all that on the air. So I hate that we can't do that in other spots sometimes.
And we can. There's tonight's not the night to go into the legalities of things,
right?
But we can dance in the gray areas sometimes.
Right?
Be careful.
That's the story of my life: dancing in the gray area.
Dancing in the gray areas. Love it. Love it. All right. Music Girl wants to know if I'm going to play the ancient Chinese secret commercials.
Well, it's another good one. We're kind of doing jingles tonight. We got a lot of commercials, but we're kind of focusing on the song catchy jingle stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and that one that would find itself in the category of stereotype commercials. Where
Today it would, but didn't seem to bother us back then. So yeah, you're right.
Didn't at all. And we could play like the Frito Bandito. We could get ourselves in all sorts of trouble. We'll stop right there.
Right.
Stop right there. Let's see. Oh, and Chance, yeah. We won't cover this one tonight, but that's another great one. We will do a candy bar.
Oh yeah. That's an endless thing too.
Yes.
Of spots.
What did John's using his milestone message says, Dave, are we going to see Michael come home from Christmas tonight? Every production which BK and Dave produce. I don't know what he's talking about. Do you?
Michael come home for Christmas.
Is it a commercial? Is there a commercial?
Sure. I know Michael comes home for Halloween in the movie Halloween. I'm not sure about Christmas though. Yeah. That's weird. Yeah.
We may need some clarification from you, John. But I will, before we do any of that, I will thank you for being a member of the channel for 34 months.
Wow.
A sustaining, supporting member of the channel for that long. Incredible. Right. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. We got Steve Tevis here saying Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat. Another great one.
There's a great one, yeah.
And that's a good jingle, too. It's not really like, I don't recall that being like a full 30-second song like the ones we're doing tonight. But that ending, that little ending was, it's a earworm that's
it's a musical tagline that sticks right in there. There's an Antonio Rodriguez mentions woman and men love the Jordache jean commercial. And there was another song there. I remember that was an honorable mention for me, the Jordache look. And I remember that song too.
Yeah, for sure. The 80s, the early 80s, right? And Jordache jeans.
Brooke Shields. Yeah.
Oh, this was a good one too. The Folgers one where the son breaks into the house at Christmas and surprises his parents. Breaking and entering by the sun.
Folgers in your cup. That's right.
Yeah. All right. We need to keep going. Let's see. Folks, I won't miss any milestone messages, but it's possible that I might miss others. So if you are a channel member and you can use your milestone message, make sure that you do so that I can put it on the screen. Oh, John says, that's the one. He's talking about the Folgers commercial.
You got it.
Michael's comes home for Christmas. We will not be seeing that one tonight. We will save that for a future special Christmas episode of Adventures with Barry and Dave.
Great one.
Yes. Didn't know his name was Michael. Didn't remember that.
Oh, I didn't either. Yeah. And there's a lot of Christmas spots too, for sure.
Yeah. And Chance says the night he came home
wearing a William Shatner mask. That's right.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to another commercial. We've done the gums. We've done 4 commercials so far. We've covered some gum. Let's move to why wouldn't we? To soda pop.
Oh, why not?
And this is one of mine, and then we'll cover the one the 2 that you suggested. But this I was never a big drinker of this soda, but this jingle did its job. It made me the commercial itself, and just made it seem like if I had this soda, life would be so much more fun.
Probably would be.
Probably would have been.
Give me a mountain and nothing to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and smooth, refreshing mountain dew. Yeah, give me a river, give me a dew. Give me my good friends, give me a dew. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew.
That's the kind of life I want to live, Barry, right there.
Right.
Look at all those friends, the adventure, you're cooled off, it's refreshing. Great song.
If you drink Mountain Dew, you get to do all those things. You get to do all those things.
Let's see.
I remember Mountain Dew when I was younger. It came in a bottle. Then we would get it, and it would have a hillbilly on it that was saying "Yahoo Mountain Dew." Those were the early bottles that came.
Right.
Out. And it kind of turned into that. Yeah.
Right. They're completely kind of different. Just what they were going for there early on. I remember the old vintage cans and
Little
bottles.
Abner and Daisy to that. So it made it more modern for the 70s. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. The next one, and the other thing that was great about Mountain Dew, of course, is, the higher caffeine content.
Oh, yeah.
Mountain Dew has a little more caffeine in it.
Not as high as Jolt Cola was, but yeah, you're right.
Right.
The
thing about Mountain Dew was, and I wasn't a heavy Mountain Dew drinker just because I love Diet Coke. And so Jolt was more down my alley if I needed the extra.
And between Mountain Dew and that citrusy thing, I think I went more toward Mellow Yellow than Mountain Dew. So yeah,
Mellow Yellow was good too.
That was my choice. Yeah.
Lobo Gris says, "Have a Coke and a smile." I was going to play the other one, but let's start with the Coke one, and then you can kind of talk about this one, Barry, if you would. Let me go ahead and cue it up, though. This is iconic. This is maybe the most iconic of all our commercials. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing with me. Perfect harmony, perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company. And the real I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. And I'd like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company. It's the real thing. It's what the world wants today.
There we go.
Yeah. That was actually a song before it was a Coke song, from what I understand, by the what was the name of the New Seekers, I think was the name of the group.
Yeah, you're right. It's the New Seekers that made that famous.
And that song, now if we were going in order, that would have been my number one jingle. That's just when that came out when I was a kid, I would sing that, just it'd be in my head, and they'd play it during Christmas too for Coca-Cola. Sometimes they just play it all the time, and they played that spot so many years, and they pulled it back out in the 80s as well. And it was an amazing song. They even kind of included it at the end of I don't know if anybody streamed Mad Men, the TV show Mad Men. Don Draper at the end of the show actually was at a meditation compound where he was on the run, and he was an ad executive in the early 60s, and he started relaxing, and things were coming to him, and that song started playing in his head. So in the show, he came up with that song for Coca-Cola and went on to be very successful. So that's how they ended the show with that episode. And I thought that was funny how they tied that in. Very popular song, very popular ad.
Yeah. And Steve Tevis, our buddy over at The Life of the Sad Ending, immediately went there as well. The ending of Mad Men.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Don Draper. Yep. Nicely done, Steve. I remember you talk about various iterations. I remember them doing Christmas version of that. And you're right. It's another one of those, much like the Doublemint commercials and some of the others that we'll hear tonight. These jingles we heard for more than a decade. There's a reason why they're instantly recognizable for those of us that grew up in that time period.
And they weren't just people off the street. I mean, these were a lot of these were songwriters. I mean, they lyricists and music writers, and they took great care in what they did. And you heard the jingle, and the fact that they've all stood the test of time and were so catchy, and what hooks they had was a testament to how well they were written and produced.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, and I love the message of that one. I just got the message about unity and just the world. Hopefully.
Well, all the UN needs is just a 12-pack of Coca-Cola, and all our troubles will be done if they just drink up, at the UN or wherever.
We just got to find what we have in common, which is love for caffeine and sugar, water, and bubbles,
and classic jingles too. I'll talk about that. Yeah.
Well, moving on to the next one, we'll just put this comment up on the screen because Angela McArdle says, I love the Dr. Pepper commercial, so we ought to serve one up for her. And then I've got some still images from what you were telling me about earlier this morning in that email, so we can talk about that too. So
okay.
Go ahead and find that. There it is.
I drink Dr. Pepper, don't you see? 'Cause it's the perfect taste for me. That original taste, is making peppers everywhere I go. There's boating peppers, toting peppers, cooking peppers, good-looking peppers. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Us peppers are an interesting breed. An original taste is what we need. Ask any pepper and he'll say, only Dr. Pepper tastes that way. There's carrying peppers, marrying peppers, diet peppers, quiet peppers. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? There's saluting peppers, tooting peppers. I'm a pepper man. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Be a pepper, drink Dr. Pepper. Aye, aye. Be a pepper, drink Dr. Pepper. Yes, sir. Be a pepper.
Sorry, I was going to get a Dr. Pepper.
You mentioned this earlier, but it's so true. Ms. Elizabeth, aka Music Girl 67, says, why can't commercials be this creative and interesting today? I don't know. I don't understand why it seems like every commercial I watch now is either for laundry detergent, cars, or prescription medicine. I don't understand what has happened.
That's a good point. Got to be some people that still know how to write jingles and songs and stuff. And,
right.
and that was David Naughton in that spot, by the way. And he was drinking that Dr. Pepper, and it was keeping him from turning into a werewolf. We know that from American Werewolf in London. So,
and if he had turned into a werewolf, Popeye would have been there to kick his ass.
He would have taken care of him immediately. Did you know that spot, by the way, in case no one knows this, that spot for Dr. Pepper won multiple Clio awards. That's CLIO, Clio. That's the Academy Awards answer to that's the Academy Awards of commercials awards. So
right.
it won several Clio awards, and it should be.
Yeah, I don't understand why some of it doesn't seem like some products advertise on TV much anymore. And those are the products where they kind of like really exhibited the creativity. Speaking of Clios, though, do you remember when they used to televise like the Clio Awards and play the best commercials of the year?
I do, and I don't know. I can't remember when they stopped doing that. They did stop it, and I know they still have them, but they don't show them anymore, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, nowadays, who cares? I wouldn't want to see, the top commercials because they're all for stuff
Wouldn't be a lot of award talk. It'd be a lot of other stuff that just like, okay, come on, just tell me who won the award for the spot. Yeah.
Steve hits the nail on the head. These commercials we have nowadays, large diabetic people dancing, just great.
Hit the defibrillator.
And Raja 1938 says most ads I see are for VPNs. I don't see. I mean, I guess you would on like if you were watching ads here on YouTube or something. I'm ad free on YouTube. I pay for the premium service, so I don't see much here. But I don't see VPN ones on TV very much now. I watch a lot of MeTV, so I also see the term life insurance.
Right. Yeah. Or we'll build you a bathtub that you can get out of.
Right. Yes.
All of this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I watching the wrong channel? How old am I again?
Let's see. Dominic D says the pharmaceutical companies buy up all the commercial time these days, it seems. So maybe that's it. Maybe they just buy it all up and there's no room for anything else.
And haven't you noticed that all the drugs now for all these commercials, they all sound like they could be planets in Star Wars? Yeah. they could. I'm in orbit around Theratol or coming up on Rebelsis and whatever.
So I've got a comment, and Tom, I've got to apologize to you. I don't know who Dan Monroe is. Do you?
Ooh, you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Talking
you.
to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
No, Dan Monroe. If I get told who it is, sometimes I don't remember who someone is, and when they tell me, I'm like, oh, that's who it is.
Dan Monroe. He has a YouTube channel where he talks about movies, music, and monsters. That's kind of off topic for us right now. He's great though. I do love his YouTube channel.
That sounds like he could be a friend of ours. That's good.
He definitely could. He's good stuff. So we'll have to talk about him another day. We're going to stick to either waxing poetic and cherishing old commercials or ranting about the crappy commercials today. Speaking of, so what have we done? We've done, oh yes, the Dr. Pepper thing. You sent me a link to a flash mob video, which is on YouTube, but I can't share it.
They're in the New York Stock Exchange, and David Naughton is in there with a few people, and they just start singing the Dr. Pepper jingle. I think it was from 2010, I think. And yeah, there it is. And he starts singing. Everybody joins in. It turns into a flash mob, and it's actually at the New York Stock Exchange. And they go through the whole classic Dr. Pepper song. It's pretty amazing. Now, if you want to log on to YouTube and watch it on your own free will, you could do that, but it's pretty cool.
It really is. And what you mentioned this, I kind of, when I started out, I thought maybe he was just lip syncing, but he is singing that song live. I think, obviously the music's being played over, tape,
right?
But he is singing that thing live, and he does a dang good job. Even
he does, yeah. Again, there it is popping up again so many years later.
Right. And the Wall Street guys, they don't know what to do.
I don't think some of them know what it is. They're like, what
right.
is that? I'm too young.
But that was really cool. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I'd encourage folks to seek that one out on their own and watch it. I think I watched it 3 times this morning.
It's very cool.
Yep. Very, very cool. Let me just check comments real quick. Oh, look at this. Someone's predicting one we're going to watch in the not too distant future. Ms. Elizabeth, you're good. You're good, Ms. Elizabeth.
the nostalgic pod blast chance is saying chiffon margarine. If you think it's butter, but it's not, it's chiffon.
That's right.
Another great one. Yeah.
Another great one. Let's see what I have queued up next. Let's see what it is. Hang on a second. We have got. Where is that? I know I had it in here. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, I've got two. I decided that maybe in the middle, because so many of our commercials tonight are about putting things in us, chewing gum, drinking soda, eating candy, that consumables, if you will. There were a couple commercials. I think these were both ones you sent me, Barry, that are not that. They're household products and a toy. So maybe, we'll just do one at a time, because it's interesting, because I wouldn't necessarily think I would remember a jingle to a household product like this, but I do. That's how good this jingle is.
Dull streets are gonna clear up, put on a Windex shine. Wipe off the dirt and cheer up, put on a Windex shine. Spray sunshine all over the place.
Only Windex has ammonia D, so nothing shines like it. Makes all kinds of shiny surfaces sparkle like glass without streaking.
Spray sunshine, it makes you feel fine when you put on a Windex shine.
When I was a kid and saw that, I think it was 82 when I saw it, and I was still a kid in 82, sort of a kid. Put on a Windex shine. It's a redo of Put on a Happy Face from the written by Lee Adams and Charles Strauss from a musical called Bye Bye Birdie, all the way in 1960, that Dick Van Dyke sung for the first time. So it's an old song, just turned into a Windex commercial, and it worked. It was genius. It was great. Whoever did it was just they deserve a Clio award for that.
They do, and they probably got one. I had a question for you. I was going to ask you, because I have seen Bye Bye Birdie, but not for many years, and I knew it was from a Broadway musical, that the genesis of that jingle, but I didn't remember which one. So I was going to ask you that, but I'm also going to ask you, that dad there that's shining up the toy car, does he look suspiciously like the dad on Silver Spoons?
It did look like him, and it could have been, because it was from 80. I think that spot's from 82, so it might have been either right before that or during that. So I'll probably watch it again a little more closely and see. It could have been him.
Okay, sure. I'm going to throw it out to the crowd. If any of you think that was Joel, I think it's Joel something or other. I can't remember his name, but if you think it was the Silver, what's that?
Sure looked like him.
Yeah, sure did. Man, it could have just been the haircut, though. It really could have.
That early 80s do,
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's watch the second one. This one is for a great toy. I see a lot of people talking about the Slinky one. That was a great song.
Ooh,
we don't have that one tonight.
I think I know what this is.
Yes, let's do this one, though.
Light Bright, the toy that lets you create beautiful pictures with light. Work with colorful pegs that glow with light, light bulb not included. Make people, animals, things, and with refills, Bugs Bunny or Bozo the Clown. You can make lots of pretty pictures with Light Bright from Hasbro.
What a great toy.
What a great jingle.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing, everything comes together perfectly, right? Here's this toy that really is just, I don't know how they came up with it. It's simple, but to understand and execute on, but it's a fun toy that kids can spend hours on. I don't know if you had one. I certainly had a Light Bright. Wasn't very good with it, but
Light Bright's a sticky spot with me and growing up, because we wanted one so bad. We never got one, but our neighbor and my buddy had one, our neighbors, and we were always, I want to go over there, and just got to play with one over there. But as long as he would let me, he wanted to do it too, but I had to sneak in a little bit too. But it was a great toy. I mean, it was now that you look back on it, you're like, that's very simple.
Yeah.
It's a simple thing, but the light, the colors,
Yeah.
you had to get the right colors, so like an etch a sketch. But they were great, and the commercial just made me want to have one. I had to have one.
Yeah, such a great song, such a great jingle. That was what you had with your buddy there, and the Light Bright was what we had with our neighbors, and they were one of the first to have an Atari 2600.
Oh wow, another great,
yeah.
Auburn,
Joel Higg.
Auburn Kim, one of your the folks in chat is saying Mutual of Omaha is people you can count on when the going.
Yes,
that's another great one. Sponsored Wild Kingdom.
Yep, on Sunday evenings. At least that's what it was out here. Sunday evenings.
Great jingle,
for sure. Joel Higgins was the actor's name, and Justin says he also looks like Gary Sandy. So I think it's that haircut, the hair.
It's the hair, yeah.
It's the hair of that period. All right. Yeah, Light Brights, man. Oh, I love this one. Danny Staten says, Light Bright, the first toy for stoners.
Wow, really?
I can see that. I can see them
so.
just kind of like, staring into the Light Bright.
They would see a little more, I guess, than just the Light Bright. Nice.
Exactly. Get their Pink Floyd playing in their Walkman.
Right. Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about
Light
that.
Bright. Okay. Let's see what we got next here. All right, now we're getting back into the good stuff here. Some more things we eat. Let's start with that one that was mentioned earlier. Great song.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts, Mounds don't. Almond Joy's got real milk chocolate, coconut and munchy nuts too. Mounds got deep dark chocolate and chewy coconut. Ooh. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Peter Paul, Almond Joy's got nuts, Peter Paul, Mounds don't. Because sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
What were you, a Mounds or an Almond Joy guy, Barry?
For the record, I always was a nut. I always wanted the Almond Joy. I'm like, well, why would I want the Mounds when I can get this with the nuts? It's the same candy bar. One's just got one difference than the other, but still am. I always feel like a nut.
Mounds had dark chocolate. That was the difference.
Oh, dark chocolate. That's right.
Dark chocolate. And I was always the guy that was like, why can't I have, because I love the Almond Joy.
Right.
But I love dark chocolate too. I wanted the Mounds with almonds.
So we need to get together. Maybe I would get the Almond Joy, wouldn't want the almonds, and I'd give them to you, and you'd put them on your Mounds, and that'd be fine.
That would be perfect. That would be perfect. Angela says that she couldn't stand Almond Joy or Mounds. Not a fan of chocolate and coconut together. I got you. My wife hates coconut too. She does not like the coconut.
That spot, interesting note about that spot. That advertising slogan went into the Advertising Slogan Hall of Fame for the success that it brought the company. It was one of those. I don't think it won a Clio. It may have, but this is a separate advertising slogan Hall of Fame award museum that it went into, obviously, that they had. And it's interesting. That was Joey Levine that was singing that jingle, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. So interesting. I mean, there's another spot that did its job, because I thought if it was a little longer and they'd made it a little, because sometimes, some songs are abbreviated and then they have a longer version for radio. If they could have added a verse or two to that song, it could have been a little goofy Ray Stevens like radio hit. It really could have.
Oh, yeah. Something you'd hear on Dr. Demento on Sunday nights.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, really great stuff for sure. And, well, I ate plenty of, I don't know if I needed the encouragement of the commercial, but it's certainly, I was one of those that's easily influenced by commercials, and see a certain product, and before you know it, I'd run off to the corner store and go get it.
I was influenced by the fast food commercials is what I was.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Burger King.
Yes.
Whatever Burger Chef, all the old Pizza Hut commercials. I mean, they immediately made me want to go, I need a Whopper. I want a Big Mac. Or I want a Happy Meal, the first Happy Meal in 1979, the Star Trek motion picture tie-in. I just wanted all of that stuff. Yeah.
Well, and McDonald's. I mean, that's one I'll share in a little bit, but just masters at marketing to children, right?
Very much
marketing
so. Yes.
to children, to kids.
And it worked. It worked.
It sure did. It sure did. We would just have to work over mom and dad for that happy meal.
That's right. That's where I learned to beg. I learned how to beg. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I've some of these have been called out by people. I think this one I've seen this called out a couple times tonight. So let's go ahead and play this.
My baloney has a first name. It's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name. It's M-A-Y-E-R. Oh, I love to eat it every day. And if you ask me why, I'll say, 'cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A.
Oscar Mayer, the first name in Bologna.
How's that?
That's another one of the biggest ones ever. Has to be.
Yeah, huge. How did they? Yeah. You know, just the casting on that one is perfect. And I wonder what happened to that kid. I don't know. Do you know? Barry?
I'll tell you the story behind that spot. They originally were going to get a group of children to sing that jingle, and we wanted to get them all together and learn the lyrics and do it. And when it comes time for the shoot to happen, they asked the kids who knows the jingle, and this one kid named Andy Lambros sung the whole song for them because he had memorized the entire song, and it went from an entire group of kids to just him singing it, sitting on a pier with a rod and reel, and that's what they used. And it's perfect. Yeah,
it's perfect. And that, dear people, is also a lesson in the value of being prepared for something ahead of time.
Right. See, people remember him, but none of the other kids now for the rest of their lives.
Right.
Because he was prepared.
Do you know what happened to Andy Lambros?
I never found out anything about him later on. I know that the kid Mikey from the Life cereal commercial went on to appear, and they located him and stuff. But I need to try to find out maybe what happened to Andy.
Feels like the topic of a future video. I just did the Rodney Allen Rippey one with that'd be great. Burger's too big to eat, why not do the Baloney Kid next? It's kind of been fun. Rodney's been actually replying to a lot of the comments in the video himself, which is great.
Well, that's good. Maybe we can track down Andy. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That was a great commercial, though, and I'm so glad you suggested it, Barry.
And one that they repeated in it. You think it just ran for the longest time. It started in 1973, and it just ran and ran and ran. And then I remember they brought it back in the 80s, and I think they may have brought it back in the early 90s just for nostalgia, but still for the ad, it's what they were using. And it just did its job perfectly. It was just amazing how much of pop culture it's a part of.
Yeah. And I'm certain, although I haven't seen the episode, but if I know my Family Guy, I'm certain that has been spoofed on Family Guy.
It was. I think it was. Yeah, by
Seth
dad.
MacFarlane. Yeah. Yes. All right. So the next one is less iconic, but what I really enjoy. I've shared this commercial a few times recently as I've been talking about the television show.
Wait, Dave. I think it was The Simpsons. It was parodied. I think Homer did.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I think it was, but we need to check that out. I'm sorry, I didn't want to correct you, but it's coming to me. I think it might be The Simpsons instead of.
Okay, so when I do
either one,
when I do my video on Andy, I'll make sure that we call back to that. And I wouldn't be surprised if both of them did it. That's just how iconic and what a piece of pop culture that commercial is.
I can spell baloney now. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's watch this one.
If you're pouring Kellogg's cornflakes, you've earned a special place on the front of America's favorite cereal. Sit down to a familiar face, the face of a Kellogg cornflake lover, the face of America too. When you sit down to America's favorite cereal, the face on the package is you. So sit down to a familiar face.
Wow. Another familiar face in that one.
Right. Anytime you can get Jerry and Tony together for a commercial, plus, and Steve's pointing this out, Edie
Edie
McClurg.
McClurg.
Yep.
Yep,
Who
that's
went
her.
on to great fame later on.
Really making Steve Martin mad at the ticket counter at the rental car
she
place in
did.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
She made that movie R-rated.
She did.
Edie McClurg alone made that movie R-rated. It wasn't Steve Martin's fault. He never
Right.
would have said those words.
Oh,
He
yeah.
never would have said them. Larry Moore says Joey Levine from the Ohio Players wrote that Almond Joy single. I think you mentioned that was he the singer of that too?
He did, and he sung it too. Yeah.
Yep. Angela recognizes Tony and
I mean, well, I think he wrote it. Yeah.
Yeah. David C says, joining late. Does anybody remember a series of dog food commercials where a dog would chase? Yeah, a little chuck wagon. Yes, of course. We all remember that commercial, David. Oh, yeah. And then they would just disappear and there would just be a bowl of the crappy dog food left.
As a little child seeing that, I thought it was real. And I'm like, that dog's got to catch that monstrosity. What is that? Catch it. It's just the weirdest thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Just that was an odd commercial, but it's memorable, right?
Yes, very much.
No jingle, though. I don't recall a jingle, so we won't be playing that one tonight. Let's see. We got a couple others, but we'll put this on screen. Yes, R.I.P. Tony Dow. Big loss when he left us. Great guy. All right. How many more do we have left? Okay, and you mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to reiterate this for everybody that's watching with us tonight. These are just some of our favorites. It's not a countdown. We're not saying, we're not working our way to number one. These are just some of our favorite TV commercials with jingles. The jingles really are what we're highlighting tonight from the 70s and 80s. So we've got one more commercial left. And this is, you mentioned that your favorite jingle was probably the Coke one. Barry?
Yes, the Hilltop Singers. That has to be number one for me if I was going to put a number one. Yeah. It's amazing.
Here's my number one.
So much life to be lived, so much to be tried, and when you share it you get a special feeling inside. You deserve a break today, so get up and get away to McDonald's.
Love that song. And I remember being able to successfully, you talk about wanting to go get fast food and how a commercial would inspire you to work the parents over. At least that's where you had to go to mom and dad, right? I remember successfully telling my dad that he deserved a break today. So I was able to use the commercial.
You were weaponizing the commercials as a kid.
Right.
That was great.
Yeah. And it worked a few times until it didn't.
Well, going to McDonald's like that, or even going to Sears to the toy box or something like that, for us as kids, that was the epitome. That was the apex of your weekend. We're going to Sears, really? We're going to McDonald's? Let's go. We were ready.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go to, let's see. Let's get some comments in here real quick. Music Girl 67, Ms. Elizabeth points out the another classic, iconic McDonald's commercial where I think we all memorized that. At least we all tried, right?
Oh, yeah.
Steve Tevis says Dottie West Coke commercial singing Country Sunshine. I don't remember that one. Do you, Barry?
Yes, I do remember that. I was raised on Country Sunshine. That was actually, I think, a country song that she had, and they turned it into a Coke commercial back in the 70s. I know that listener Carlos in chat is saying the honeycomb's big. Yeah. He's got the honeycomb cereal one on there, which you and I are planning on doing a cereal show in the future. So watch out for that. So yeah. There's going to be some really fun ones when we do the breakfast cereal one. Rachel in the 208 says, what? No Toys R Us kid? I kind of feel like that was a 90s one, but maybe it was in the 80s too. Yeah, that was a later one, but it was a great jingle though. Yeah, I don't want to grow up.
Yeah. Tom McCluskey, Says, love the Mormon commercials from the early 80s. I don't remember Jingles in those. They did
No, I
some
don't
good
know
ones,
if they
but
sung that or not.
yeah, I don't remember the Jingles. Let's see. And here's a good one. And someone else mentioned this earlier too. The I Am Stuck on Band-Aids one. Was that Ms. Elizabeth that did that? Those were
That, that's a great one too. Your Music Girl 67 also said, "Give me a break me off a piece of that
Oh,
Kit
yeah.
Kat bar." That was a great one too.
Yeah, for sure. Angela says the days when McDonald's had cool toys in their Happy Meals. Yeah, yep. They were a lot cooler back then, for sure. Todd says, I always thought the Oscar Mayer kid and Mikey from Life were brothers.
Who knows? Stranger things have happened.
Maybe. That and that little Mason Reese fellow. They all kind of look the same. Let's see. Carlos says, yeah, and this is true. Back then, going to a fast food place was a luxury. Now we just all go all the time.
Well, let's face it, Dave, if they stare at the screen long enough and looking at us two, they're going to think that we're brothers after a while. It just happens sometimes. It just happens.
They're gonna have to stare a good long time, Barry. Although my brother Steve still has his hair too. I don't know what happened, why I was not blessed with maintaining my follicles and he was.
But you're sporting a fantastic Professor X look from the X-Men. I love it. I love that.
Yeah. What's the Addams Family one? Fester. Uncle Fester is the one that people in the comment section tell me I look like. They're always trying to make me feel good.
I was going with giving you a big brain, though, with Professor X. So
thank you. I appreciate that. You were trying to build me up. Whereas,
that's right.
I don't know. Uncle Fester's cool, but...
You could light a light bulb in your mouth. Who else could do that? Yeah.
That's right. Chance says the Winston jingle. I don't remember any cigarette commercial jingles.
Yeah, I'll know if I heard the Winston jingle, I'd probably remember it, but I can't recall it right now. So yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Dave Thomas says no one can do McDonald's like McDonald's can. And Dominic D says, didn't Barry Manilow write You Deserve a Break Today? I know he wrote Jingles. I'm not sure he was the writer on that. Was he? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I know that he's attributed to writing some commercials, and he said, yeah, I've written some, but I didn't write that one, and I didn't write that one. But I'm not sure which is assigned to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Anticipation. The perfect pairing of that Carly Simon song with the Heinz ketchup bottle.
Yep.
It's a good one, Carlos.
Another great one. You forgot that it was a song and it was associated with Heinz all of a sudden.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I don't know, John, the Empire Carpet Man jingle. Was that a regional one?
Yeah, I think that's regional. It's a something 988-2300 Empire, and they would sing the whole number.
I do remember that. We must have had that too. That does ring a bell.
Yeah. Remember
Auburn Kim liked the I Like Nair commercials. The we wear short shorts.
I liked that one too when I was a young boy. Didn't know why, but I did really kind of like it. It's interesting. And my Mrs. BK mentioned that one to me too. She goes, you need to mention that one. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
It was appealing for some strange, odd reason. Let's see. Music Girl 67 says fast food is still a luxury for her. Nice. It's good that that's good that you treat it that way, because those of us that don't treat it that way, well, this is what you get.
Well, being as it's so much more expensive now, it's a luxury.
Yeah,
for another reason.
True.
Yeah, prices went up. Yeah,
it's becoming more luxurious every day.
Yes, it is very much so. Gold-plated Big Mac.
Oh, and Tom wants to know what happened to Mason Reese. That's another good question. One of these days, I'll have to answer.
Mason's actually on social media. He has a Facebook page, so yeah, he's out there. Yeah,
he's easy to track down. Good,
he sure is.
I like that. I think we'll stop here. Thank you, everyone, for your participation tonight. And thank you, Barry, for this brilliant idea and for getting this going. Hey, do you want to tell folks, I mentioned it earlier on, but, let's do the heavy lifting here in terms of promoting what you do and that you're so very darn good at.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's BK on the air. I got a radio show every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern on WBHF Radio. There's the big logo right there, 100.3 FM and AM 1450. We stream from our website, WBHFradio.org. And you can also download our wonderful, still crisp new app, WBHF Radio app for Android and iPhone. You can get it in your app store. It's still so new. It's got that new app smell still, by the way. And if you don't want to, for some reason you don't want to do that, we do broadcast on the TuneIn app and on Sound and on Radio Garden app as well. So you can get us there. So yeah, I actually do have a YouTube channel that Dave mentioned earlier. I put some, not as much as some of these guys, but I do put some nostalgic stuff up there, and was putting the show up there till we started on our app. You can actually hear my show on the app, and we're kind of concentrating on that right now. For you, we want you to go to the app to listen to our archived shows, which mine's included on there. You want to hear a show and you miss it, go on the app and you can listen to it. And I'm going to start putting them back up on YouTube eventually after that cools off and make them a little more interesting. You can also email me at bkontheair@gmail.com. But yeah, I'm out there on Facebook and X and Instagram. Look me up on
You're
BK
all
on
over
the
the
air.
place. And I gotta sing the praises of the app, because what I love about it is I'm often tooling around town at the time you're on Saturday mornings, and I have CarPlay in my truck. And that app, if you believe it or not, it shows up in my CarPlay. So you know, it's a big button right there. I can click on it and I can just click and go right to BK on the air on Saturday mornings, and it's fantastic. And I think you probably mentioned this is one of the reasons it's not on YouTube right now.
Right.
But there's an archive of all of the old stuff too. That you can
Everything, every show that we do, there's an archive. But you just want to hear me, search for BK on the air, and my shows will come up. But yeah, it's great. I'm glad that we finally talked the management into getting one and getting with the program of the 20th century here.
Yeah. It's good stuff. So next month, when we do this, Barry, teasing it out for folks, you mentioned it earlier. I think it's breakfast cereals. Let's talk about breakfast cereals. We'll of course have some. I'm sure some of them will have great jingles, but there were the breakfast cereal commercials. They were really fun too, in so many different ways. And probably because they were so targeted directly to kids.
And they worked too.
Yeah.
They really did.
Sure did. Well, this has been a delight. Again, thank you, Barry. Really appreciate having you on this evening.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks for the encouragement to get us going on this. And thanks to all of you. I'm going to double check and make sure no more milestone messages nobody used their milestone messages. Great. Save them for another time, you channel members. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope, it's a Monday, so we've got the whole week ahead of us. So I hope everybody has a great week. And you know what? If you get feeling down, this live stream will be available for replay, and you can go back and listen to all these great commercials all over again. You can fast forward through our jabbering.
Everyone could go to YouTube and look up these commercials too if they want to relive some nostalgia. They're still fun to watch.
Absolutely. There's who knew that YouTube one of its amazing things was that it would turn into a time machine and allow us to do all these wonderful
things.
Thank
goodness. I love it for that reason. Yeah.
All right. Hey, thanks everyone. And thanks again to you, Barry. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Good night.
Thank you all for standing by through and through. It's the kind of strength that lifts the shadows too. And all I gotta say is thank you all. Thank you all.
Click on that thumbnail, cause it's time to go. Dave's got the classics, let the memories flow. TV shows and movies that we all hold so dear. On his YouTube channel, he's keeping memories near. Dave Sundstrom, bringing back the good stuff, oh yeah.